Welcome everyone to a very exciting zoo tour. Today we are touring the London Zoo, but not today, in 1904. This one has been done by Ralph Stickley and he actually is working in London Zoo. Well, 100 and plus years later, but this is gonna be a very crazy tour. I tried something else for today's tour, hopefully you'll like it, and it's gonna be a very detailed and cool tour. But before, this is sponsored by Instant Gaming, actually our sponsor of the channel, and I couldn't do tours like that without Instant Gaming, because apparently they help me free myself a little bit from the views, so you can buy game keys on this site. It's very normal and easy, and you can grab your keys there. You get in-game currencies as well, always great values. They've got off very cool discounts every now and then. You'll definitely find something. Just check out the link in the description. But now let's go into the video. But before, I want to show you the channel of the creator of this wonderful zoo we are touring today, and it's Ralph the Stick. As you can see, only 398 subs. Now it's 399, and I hope you guys are gonna do this too. But if you look at the videos, this whole page is dedicated to fulfilling the dream of making a zoo how it stood in 1904. And you can see dedication is going on for quite a while, and I love this page. So if you want to see more intricate and detailed showcases, including a lot more background knowledge than I have, this is the place to be. But now, without further ado, we should go into the actual zoo, shall we? And between the tour bits, we are actually flying into the various locations, so you have a better overview where we actually are in the zoo. So we are starting our tour finally. After all the intro, we are going to have a little look. As already said in the intro, I'm not going to go into every single corner of the zoo. You can basically do it yourself, but beware. This park is A, massive, and B, very massive on the performance. There are a couple of reasons to that. I see these VFX everywhere in the zoo. It just kind of is really scenic and gives the whole thing atmosphere. But even on my end, we are just like going around like 15 to 20-ish FPS here in play mode. It is on WQHD, but I tested to go lower and also put down the graphics, but it just won't do it. I think it's just such a massive zoo in terms of details and stuff that there's just no chance. And there's also like half of London built around the zoo just for giving it the context, which is just massive. One thing I'm just gonna say right away, because otherwise I would say that all the time, this zoo is another testament to why we are lacking birds so heavily. Like, I think 80%, at least it feels like, of the animals missing, and actually of the animals overall in the 1904 London version are flying birds and all these aviary type of things. So it is kind of frustrating seeing that, and they've done a crazy job to build all these statues and so on. It just kind of is really cool, but apparently it just takes away from what a game could offer otherwise, because whatever you can see in here are just statues, and just kind of you could do the exact same in Planet Coaster, which is kind of not the point of playing in this game, I guess. Anyways, so you can see this is the overall house, one of the many aviaries we will see in here. Architecture wise, it's all bloody impressive. It's so good, and sometimes there are also some sneakily going in here. Okay, so this one this is one of the few ones that doesn't feature an inside, but you can see the zoo everywhere is something very nice to look at. It's super spacious actually, because apparently back in the day habitats have been rather small in comparison to the rest of it, so zoos were still being more or less like big nature parks, and featuring some animals here and there. But just look at that. Look at the quality of these animals. It's just like, it is cool to see, not gonna lie. It's just really so good. And the custom audio that I've downloaded, and you hopefully can hear right now, is actually adding so much to it. I'm a huge fan of it, but I would love to have that myself, even as exhibits, that would be so cool. But anyways, so as I said, I would love to go into every detail, but then this tour would be like 8 hours long. I've actually looked a lot of it at it, and tried to figure out how to kind of plan the tour the best way possible for you guys, but there will always be something you're missing out, because it's just so good. Like little details, like the way how this fence is going to the end, and then having these tiny I think it's that from, I don't even recognize this piece, but like so many great pieces used and utilized, and like with the leaves down here. Everywhere you find something to look at in the zoo. And then also, again, as I said, there are so many bright and open and vast spaces that you can utilize. It is just ridiculous how good that is. But then we also continue our route, and we will see apparently a lot of these small kind of cages everywhere, which is very sad to look at, but that has been reality. So it's also kind of a good memorial to look at these things, and hopefully that zoos nowadays don't do the same. I myself, as said in the intro, haven't been to London Zoo at all, so I can't really tell anything how it is nowadays or not, but apparently this is very similar to what you would expect from older zoos that we have in Germany as well. Like, I remember the Ruhr Zoo, for example, as one of the I guess the only ones I've been to that has been absolutely horrible, and I have at least a little bit of a memory of it. But yeah, so you can see here we have got a bonnet monkey from India, which is not in here. There is a macaque sitting actually. Then we do also have the macais, so it's a common macaque. As you can see, this one does fit in here very well. I mean, they all can't traverse anything. We have the Ghanaian baboon. Potentially we could put a baboon in. I'm not sure when the latest update has been to this zoo, so a couple of new animals are in here, but I'm not sure if they would have fitted in. And then we also have more of these, the Arabian baboon. So quite a lot of these animals, which is absolutely gorgeous to see. Now, as we won't traverse too much of this area here in the tour, I'm just going to look at these things because they look absolutely fantastic. What I will do though is I'm just going to quickly go into that building over here to just show you from the side, because it's so cool. Like all these tiny little details here, they look fantastic. And then over here you can see this is the mandrill, and there's like one mandrill sitting in here, very sad, but like sleeping over here. Notice, visitors are requested not to feed this animal with bread or buns. Look at that. It's just so ridiculous to see that an animal has lived actually in this tiny space. Like, looking at that is, you can definitely tell where the aversion against zoos is coming from. But then you also have like this house over here. And the monkey house, beware of pickpockets. Not sure if you mean the monkeys by that, but yeah. A lot of the shifaks and so on in here. And the keepers have strict orders to prevent visitors irritating the monkeys. Look at that. Look at the tiles on the ground with all the kind of dust and dirt, and just looks so good. Look at there's some food in here. So apparently it seems like animals could technically traverse through here. I mean, yes, they have the chance to do so, but yeah, look at all these small cages. Again, it is not like, anything to say, oh, look at how beautiful it is for the animals. Apparently it's not. Oh my god, look at this one. It would be so cool to have that one. It just immediately tells you what that is, but oh my god, the little loris. This is just like, it is ridiculous to see, but this is just how the zoos back in the day used to be. It's not a sloth, kind of. Oh no, that's a fruit bed. Yeah, I mean, we do have it in game, but we can't use it the way it is meant to be in this building. So yeah, as I said, it is a freaking impressive build, and it's just absolutely gorgeous. But it's now time to basically zoom over to the next region of the zoo. And we're flying from over here, the first aviary, all the way across these beautiful buildings that look absolutely gorgeous with these very nicely little park bits, across these piggies over here, and we land in the southern ponds. Alright, we reached the southern ponds, and you've seen a couple of animals while the flyover. Just to show you, there's a wild boar just behind of us. This is the wild swine. Then we also have, is that actually meant to be the red river hawk? Yes, it is. They're merging into each other. Then we do also have the warthog. Very cool to see them all next to each other, just in terms of the game's animals, by the way, because I haven't had all these pigs together, but like it's crazy to see them all. The babirusa we have over here, the peccary, very neat indeed. But then we go for the southern ponds, as you can see over here, again with a couple of animals we apparently don't have in the game. Very nice usage of the of one of the signs over here, and then another one of these incredible statues. They are still my favorites. Like, it's insane how well all the animals have been just done, and look at that, like with the effect over here, making sure that it still looks like as if something is happening. I mean, actually, these are the actual swans. That looks like a statue in the first second because they're sleeping at the moment, but apparently This is not like, oh, look at that. It's just like, it is so horrible and cruel to see these habitats, but then again, they are so reminiscent of classic zoo designs. And nowadays you see a lot of these leftovers, I should say, from these habitats in real zoos, but, you know, fortunately turned over into some other habitats. And like, look at these tiny ponds you have. Like, there's still a couple habitats left I even can think of, like in the Krefeld Zoo, for example. That's very close, like near to me, close by where I'm living. But also Duisburg Zoo has apparently still some of these habitats, unfortunately still in action. Like, just I can't really pinpoint what exactly it is. It just kind of has this feeling of a zoo. Knowing more about zoos apparently just changes your view on it a little bit, but you can't help but having this emotional connect to how you are used to knowing zoos. Like, and this is something about education, and hopefully my daughter and my son, they will have a very different view on it. But this is just like how culturally you have been educated and you know, brought to this knowledge. And I mean, look at this penguin habitat over here. Oh my god, what's going on with you? Yeah, you have a bad time. I think this is true. But yeah, like, it's really hard to see, but this is exactly how it used to be in real life. And they have like this tiny space with that kind of pool, and I'm wondering if the pool is actually even deep. I think it may actually not even be deep. Let's have a little look. Yeah, no, that's just like a little water dip. I don't even know if that's real or if anything is different. Like, technically they should be deeper for them. At least they had a bit of space to dive, I guess. And because I left it out, on the other hand side, we have a lot of these terrible dinosaurs, like giant birds, the cassowary over here. Then we have the emu over here. Then we have the freaking giant ostrich in this pen over here. My god, you guys are terrible. You scare the heck out of me all the time. Then we've got the male ostrich. It always kind of bugs me how insanely big they are in comparison to the other ones. Like, if you thought the emu was a big bird, just look at the ostrich. My goodness me, they are so freaking gigantic. And then over here we have the new bird over here. So that is basically then the very new update indeed. So they have all the animals from the latest animal pack in here even. And if we just quickly run over, you can see down here we have some seals enjoying their time. Well, enjoying may not be the right term, but apparently they're living in here. So the great seal, the British Isles. It's kind of funny how they always claim that it's theirs, but just putting British or whatever in front of it. And something also very usual back in the day was like kind of the separation of two habitats, and then always have like 2 or 3 specimens by each other to hopefully make them breed, I assume it was. Also, just look at the design of like the grasslands and like the little planters over here. It's kind of crazy to see. It's so simple yet effective, I must say. Like, with all the little plants and so on, it looks very realistic. And then you just have that pathway going over here. That's exactly how it would be. Then we also have the sea lion with yet another small area. I want to just quickly run around before we have a look at it. Wait, hold on. I need to sneak through here real quick to show you the other side, because that is apparently how they used to do these kind of things and give the sea lion kind of a little show when they do it on here. I mean, look at that. This is the only area where they can actually go into the water. That's all they can do. But they can actually come up. Oh my god, look at that. That could actually become our thumbnail. Oh my goodness me. Are you kidding me? You're just doing that for us right now. This is insane. Look at that. We can take that as our thumbnail of this video or so, because it's just so good. I mean, it's cruel, but it's like positioning wise, I could have dreamed of anything better. Then we have a whole bunch of other animals in here, just like some antelopes and so on. Can't really name them all. I'm too stupid to tell them all apart, because I'm not as much of an expert here. But yeah, again, very, very tight living together spaces. But I'm sneaking myself through here again, just so we continue our path on the other side. I said I'm not going to walk through here too long, but apparently I have to. That one over here is just another one of these obvious choices. We've got the brindled sheep, and that's the new goat over here we have. That is very cool looking, but like, this is something I must admit is something I would have loved even more in zoo, that this works. But as you can tell, normally this is exactly how zoos would do it, like a very tight space for them to get some shelter. But in the terms of Planet Zoo, these animals cannot use this space. So hopefully, by the way, this looks again absolutely gorgeous. I mean, again, not that I'm a fan of it, but this is glorious. I don't know, I can't even say anything else. It is looking ridiculously great. Also the usage of the pathway down here with like glitching a little bit of path through here, definitely gonna be done with you know, the mods and so on. Also I love the rock work over here, making sure that all looks good. Look at that one coming in for a bit of a showcase here. My goodness me, maybe this is gonna be our thumbnail. I don't even know what is going to be our thumbnail because everything is looking so freaking good. Okay, hold on. That definitely over here was a very, very neat shot. Also with the subtle distance here, with the big houses. Again, I can't really say... Oops, I forgot to just get rid of the menu. There you go. Why this has such a connect to me, but it looks fantastic. Despite the fact it's not great for the animals, as I need to highlight a couple of million times, I think. What is living in here? Caution, these animals are dangerous. Okay, but who is living in here then? So this is the... Oh, that's still the sea lion, okay. Oh my god, look at them. They have a little pond over here. It's kind of crazy that the animals in this game still do behave in these... like, that they do kind of work in here, I should say. Like, that there at least is a bit of traversable area, apparently. And they do swim, which almost looks like as if they're diving a little, which apparently I know is just because they're idling at one spot. But yeah, so moving on, we are over here, but I think this is the point where we make our next fly to the next point of today's video, because again, I can't do the full tour, that would be ridiculous, but keep in mind where we are, and now we fly over to the next one. Actually, we make our way from the southern ponds, where we just started last bit, across these big, beautiful buildings to a wonderful centric piece that is housing the big kitties, but also there is more to see in this space over here. Which is bringing us to the big cats. But before we have a look at the big cats, I want to turn around and show you something really crazy. This is the backside of where we've just been, but if we move over here to the next side, we will be seeing the bear area. And this is below a little bit of a raised terrace kind of thing, which I'm not sure why they did do this. I think this is just for the people to get this raised view of all these areas around and having this garden feeling still going on. There you can see some elephants on display, and there's a camel on display. Again, this kind of thing, having animals on display. There's the camel pen, by the way. Again, the building looks gorgeous, I must say. The building itself looks gorgeous, architecturally very nicely done, and yeah, again, I can't say that, but cruel it is, definitely. We're just gonna move over here to show you what is next to the side. I'm just gonna sneak my way down here through that to show you where the bears are living in here. So there are shelters below that raised area with a whole bunch of bears in, and this is called the bear pit, and you can actually go in. And it looks very, very crazy indeed. Oh my god, you can't go in here, obviously. You shouldn't do that. You'll be eaten alive. But yeah, this is the bear pit. And if you go over here, you can see they're actually in here, living there. There's the grizzly, separated from the Formosan black bear. And then over here is another grizzly, I guess it is. Look at that one. And yeah, this is just, again, as I said, cruel. But we're gonna make our way to the big kitty area, which is just over here, and they all have that tiny space. As you can tell, there's a line just in front of us. Again, looking phenomenal, but it is not cool at all for these animals in real life. It used to be not good, because most of them, actually all of them, are not alive anymore. Unless it's a tortoise. I won't say that for a tortoise. You never know if a tortoise is still alive. But the other ones, like this one over here, the jack over here. What's that, leopard? I didn't see that quickly. And then we also have, what's that over here? Many times, is that like a carnival thingy behind here? Oh my god, that's just like one of these old carriages, I guess, where you can bring animals over. Then we've got a tiger. Barely seeable, by the way, or like visible through here. And then we move on. On the other hand side, we've got some birdies again in some tiny ponds. Again, as I said, this zoo is cluttered with different types of birds. Also very local birds and common ones and domesticated ones and whatever. Like a whole bunch. Then we have a albino bison here on the side. Crazy to see that. It's so crazy, honestly. And then in here, oh no, that's the jag. So that was definitely a leopard on the other hand side there. But that's the jaguar over here. We can't really tell, but there you go. You can tell it. Now let's quickly move inside of the house, because it does also have a inside, which is called the Lion House, but I think you can definitely tell more animals. Oh my god, look at that. There's the cheetah living in here. There's another tiger. Then we do have a black panther just in front of us, all on display. There's no one living in here. There's another jaguar in here. They can't get out of here, you know. It's kind of a fake display, which is very nicely done in terms of zoo. But obviously in terms of realism, it is crazily accurate to how it was back in the day. Gosh, look at that. The puma is in here. Another leopard. Oh my god. And then we obviously have the male lion. It's not modded, by the way. I took out the mods in case you're wondering, but oh my god, look at this. There is even like a lion and a leopard in one. And then last but not least, we would have another lion, but they are outside, at least like, you know, implied. Anyways, let's fly over to another little area I want to showcase, because this is going to be very important because it's so cool looking. But the jump over is just very short one, all the way into one of the corners of our zoo, greeting us with the reptile houses. Right, we are in front of what is actually the reptile area, and just because I said tortoise a couple of moments ago, this is where some of the tortoise can be found, as you can see from the outside over here. This potentially is one of these areas which is kind of okay, also, not okay, but it's definitely similar to how modern zoos sometimes have it as well. And then you do have the tortoise house. I'm not even aware if you can go in, but we will sneak our way in here anyways and have a look if, yeah, you can. Look at that. Oh my god. Look at the tiny tortoise over here living. That's so cute. And again, as I said, this is maybe the closest you can get to how it is still gonna be done nowadays, because these animals just don't move that much around. So you do have them all on display in a house like that. I love these little bit of clutter just in the middle here. There's some more tortoises there. Some other little displays. Look at them. They are fake displays, but they are done so freaking well. How on earth is this done, by the way? Is this done with the fake pieces? Hold on. This must be the most tiny pathway utilized over here. Oh yeah, look at that. I'm just gonna go up there. This is a very clever trick, also with the texture of these pebbles and stuff. There are even fish in here, but yeah, again, fake fish. Apparently fake fish. Some more of the little tortoise, a bit of a bigger one, so Aldabra, I guess. And then you get out of it here, there's another carriage of these things. Like, apparently we are just entering the 20th century, so, you know, it's not like super modern, is it? Anyways, going out. And then we do go over here into the other side, which is the actual reptile house. And that one, I saw that also on Zansai's Place tour. He also toured the zoo, which was a very inspiring tour to do it as well. I got sent to zoo beforehand, but I just didn't have the time to do a tour. Look at all these plants being on display over here. But now going in, and again, I must say that architecturally wise, this is phenomenally well done. With like the roof design over here, the choice of materials, that it looks super old and used, and just not super fresh and clean, but actually as if it existed for a while, giving you that bit of an old zoo vibe anyways. And then having all these hanging planters, and then you have all these little fake displays over here, again giving us an idea of why this is such a missed opportunity, and why, you know, you can't get into that level of detail with the available displays we have in the game, which is a shame. Just like, imagine you could do stuff like that. It's yeah, again, something just for the realism. But then you also have like the little curvious caiman over here, and then we do have a lot of the crocs in the center. Gosh, like, again, it is also, oh my god, look at the texture of that one. I always forget how beautiful the alligator looks, like with that purple and just like reflection. It looks like a typical car of a just 18-year-old one who used to playing Need for Speed Underground 2 too much in the days, and then having that kind of purple light shifting, changing color on the car, which would have taken most of the money they would need to spend on education else. But hey, that's just how the times have been back then, right? But yeah, no, just kidding. But this looks just ace. Not because of the animal, but like because they are just putting all these animals on the rock on the display. They can't move, so it looks like cluttered, but exactly like how it would be in real life. And as sad as it is, as realistic it also comes across. And yeah, we've got more of these animals over here. Look at them. I didn't know we have patterns like that available in game. Boy, they are so cool. Is that like kind of a special pattern of them? I never checked out that they have, but they look like dragons. My goodness me, there's like a gharial in here too, but they are definitely not the ones. Hold on, I need to double check. Who are you? You are an American alligator, but you're a juvenile. Okay, hold on, but what about you then? You are a curvious dwarf caiman juvenile. Ooh, I didn't know they look like that as a juvenile. See, sometimes I should play the game more often to discover how they look. And it's a very clever usage of to put them in their own habitat to make them appear like as if they're a real animal. But yeah, so let's go out of this one and then we will fly over to our next point. Also, like these sunken down pits everywhere is also so cleverly done. I like that. By the way, here on the other side we have some deers and some other very cool looking animals in here, but then, you know, with a habitat that just does not give them the space required, but that's just kind of the story of the zoo. Anyways, let's fly over to the next area. And as the last one was very short, this one is much longer. We are going to fly by a lot of smaller exhibits and smaller little cages, also next to these wonderful garden areas with beautiful flower work. But all of these are in polite little habitats. Very few of them are actually housing actual animals from the game. A lot of these are filled with like hawks and eagles and vultures and all these kind of birds and owls and all these kind of other very beautiful birds that we don't actually have in the game. We also do have some other animals that are in fact in-game, just as the wolverine and so on, but we make our way across a lot of these very tiny cages that make you really feel a bit you know, when it comes to animal conservation friendliness and so on. But then turning around to one of my favorite areas in the zoo and just, yeah, let's walk down here as well. Alright, we are potentially in my, at least from the vibe, favorite area of the zoo. We just made our way across all these cages you've just seen in the flyover. Apparently you could have not seen that much, but you know, just to showcase. There's just like a lot of these aviary kind of things with a lot of fake birds, and every now and then you do see an in-game animal that was just fitting. But this area over here looks like just type of classic old zoo that I'm used to knowing from our areas, and being very happy that it does not exist this way anymore. But like the beauty of this area, how it all has been done in this game, just kind of captivates me in a way. So again, we have some implied habitats of some birds. Yeah, it's almost like a broken record saying that. And then we also have these, like, I love these kind of enclosed semi deep areas. Like this one is for a little otter, as you can see, the European otter, which is using the small clawed Asian otter, but it, again, looks so cool with all the broomstick in here. And yeah, this is again how it has been. And again, you still see these type of habitats in real life zoos, but most likely they're either empty or repurposed for tiny animals, just like, for example, the meerkat. And some of like these animal areas have been repurposed for meerkat habitats or prairie dog, like, or maybe skunk at some point, but not like animals that require more space to swim and dive and whatnot. But yeah, going over here, you've got an area for these type of animals with the hooves, and we've got some llamas over here. We've got some alpacas around. This is the llama house. 1898, boy, this is crazy. History is crazy. So there's a tunnel, but we're gonna not make our way through the tunnel just yet. We're going to have a look at what still is available over here. So you've got like a little shop over here, souvenir kind of shop, where you can grab some stuff. Restaurant and buffet though. Oh no, you can get some foodies over here. And again, in case you missed it, we have a lot of birds. These are in here as well. Fake birds, apparently, I must say. And then you got some notes over here. The Zoological Society wishes to express its gratitude to Messrs. Drag and Jaguar X for the generous donation of birds, fishes, small mammals. So yeah, this is definitely our creators who have created all these insane statues that you've also seen. If you've been on this channel for a while, you know that, especially when Haribo has done some zoos, he also used some of these statues every now and then. So they became the common animals to use for when you don't have the animals, which is kind of a very good thing to do. And you know, props to where they deserve to go. So this is a little bit of an area where you can do some picnics and have some tea and so on. Again, as I said earlier, and you can see there are also some stools over here, some chairs where you can just chill down and then have a look at the animals. And as you can see, there's another area where the animals are on display. Again, as sad as it is, this is exactly how it used to be back in the day, which is a shame. And then you had got these keepers. I don't even know if I want to keep them, call them keepers, because apparently they are not keepers. They have been, I don't know, instructors. I'm not sure what to name them, but yeah. So this is that. There you have also me. I'm standing in here too. So my camel friend me is in here too. And I'm also not sure if, gosh, this is a gorgeous pattern of the fur. Let's have a little look. Is that a special pattern? A red brown wool coat. Okay, interesting. I'm not sure if that's the original one, but it looks good. It looks definitely good. And we've got a kind of a gazebo in the center for people to just, you know, go around and have a good time. So as I said, the thing is, back in the day, in these areas, these zoos have been prestige. You know, being here was prestige. Showcasing yourself in here in the most beautiful and most expensive dresses and so on has been prestige. You know, going to a zoo and show off what you got was prestige. And this is why the zoos have been built more or less like a huge royal garden kind of thing, and then put animals as an element on display. It's almost like a museum with animals. Basically, that's the main idea about the zoos back in the day. It's not about animal welfare whatsoever. It's all about the welfare of people living in these spaces. And yeah, I mean, but it's just so good. It is just so freaking good. And yeah, you've got another little restaurant area over here where you can sit down in a little garden. Even you had enclosed back then like this. There's like a lawnmower kind of thing. We've got our camels again, what we've seen already previously from the look at all the bears in here. That's so sad to see. Then we've got some more camels and dromedaries, and going further over here, we have just yet another one of these eastern aviaries. So you can see they're even named by the different areas to go. Then we do have a bit of a toilet area. This is definitely for the ladies, and then we do have an inside of the aviary building. Oh boy, look at all these animals again, being done so good. Now the sound kicks in. Very lovely to have the sound in these houses. It just really makes a lot with me, makes it so much more realistic. But then you expect them to move even more, which is kind of sad. Then we have a bit of a bigger aviary build, which I think looks fantastic. Just from the looks of it, that is gorgeous. You know, if we have a look at it from the other side, maybe let's sneak our way here through the garden. Just peekaboo from the other side. I just want to make it, yeah, it's just looking good. It's just looking so good. That's the great aviary, and you can make your way over here and then sit down and just enjoy a bit of the aviary. Some birds apparently in here do move, like the flamingos, and we do have new flamingos just with them now. The Norman common flamingo and the American flamingo are both sharing the habitat. And yeah, I'm wondering if potentially the zoo would be even better if a lot of these modded animals would be used, because we do by now have a lot of these animals available as mods, and they work pretty nicely, as you know, from my Venlo zoo. So that definitely is an idea how you could do that. But I mean, just look at this. The usage of pieces, the usage of making sure everything looks as intended is just incredible. And this is one of, if not the best zoos, like in really from the feeling of how a zoo should feel back in the day, that I've ever done. So really good. Anyways, that's the point where we fly over to a very different area of the zoo. Alright, so let's take the route and fly back to the tunnel where we've just been a couple of minutes ago, and actually take the tunnel to the other side of the road, and in fact also the other side of the zoo. I quite like the separation of those two. In Germany, the Duisburg Zoo also has a separation, but then you cross the highway above actually, and here you go under the road, and you're greeted by another bridge going over a little water canal and then ending over here. Alright, we made our way all the way to the northern aviary. As I said earlier, we do have a lot of aviaries, and we have one of the bestest done statues of them all. Like, if you look from over here, that is such a believable owl. I am absolutely stoked. The same goes above, apparently, about that snow one or snow owl over here. That's just Hedwig. But it is... yeah, the talent is really insane. But now what we're going to do is we're going to go all the way through here till the very end, because this is a very channel-like area, because apparently there is a channel in the center, as I wanted to quickly show you. Look at that. There is this water channel where boats can go by, and I'm not even sure if people would have been unloaded here or how exactly this channel has been used in the days, but it looks very royal, as if people would have been going over that channel in the past too, and just like waving their hands and showing off their dresses again. But yeah, moving in here, we do have a lot of these smaller pens, but then again, a bit more, as I said, a bit more realistic, bit more to how a, not realistic, everything is realistic in here, but more like how modern day zoos work. Not entirely, apparently, but like very close to it. Also, if you hear myself being a bit nosy, this is because of the pollen allergy. Alright, I just said that and I just went coughing like a madman right away. So I need to do a little cut here anyways. So yeah, here, as you can see, this is the crane's winter house. And apparently when it's not winter, they are somewhere outside in these pens over here. So that's kind of cool, a bit more modern. And I'm very sorry I don't know the trivia about this. I have no idea what part of the zoo has been built first and what is more modern maybe. Like modern in terms of being early 20th century, very early 20th century. But yeah, I think this is the other entrance. This is the north entrance, as you can see. And again, this is what I said earlier. There's like a freaking London built around here. So London is part of the entire environment here. So if you go out of here, you can see there's like old city with all these VFX going on. There's a church, there are hedges. It's just absolutely fantastic. And then you go in and you've got some cranes, and then we go all the way over here. And we do have the insect house. And you know, I love these houses. I love how they're realized. I wish we had more in the game to realize that. We've got some of these things we've already seen in the Reptile House. They look fantastic. We've got the display on top, which is again very typical how you would do that. I remember, I must really quickly speak about that, because that was kind of ridiculous. When I've been to Thailand with my wife and a friend and his wife, we went to kind of the royal gardens in Chiang Mai, and we expected like something very modern and crazy, but apparently that thing was run down like crazy, and there was a old insect house, and this is very similar to what you would expect from these very old zoos. They just went full on kind of 19th end of 19th, beginning of 20th century, and we were like, what the heck is going on? And that was just completely destroyed, and frogs and so on were just jumping around, and you didn't even know if anything of that is still poisonous or so. That was such an odd feeling going through these kind of broken down thingies. But I mean, look at that area, how beautiful that looks. Is that actually a habitat? I cannot think it is, but I don't think it is. But like, my god, that looks so gorgeous. I should definitely use these flowers more. Looking at these, I definitely need to use them more. Boy, that is so good. I can't talk anymore. It's such a crazy tour. But yeah, going around this corner, you'll see we are meeting up with you guessed it, aviaries, as you can tell, and I'm gonna pause them by relatively quickly because we've seen so many aviaries already by now. But we're gonna go to the Przewalski horse, as you can see over here. So these are the northern stables. I like the fact how they don't go for the animals back in the day, but they actually go for the utility, I guess. Like, this is definitely already implying the way people have been focusing on a zoo. It's not about the animals, it's definitely about the human story behind where to lay out certain facilities, rather than paying attention to what animals would need. And yeah, it's very hard to see, but then again, for the sake of a game, and fortunately enough this is just a game, it is so interesting to see how historically accurate this has been built. So we've got a Przewalski horse over here, and then we've got another one over here. I think this is a donkey. Yeah, exactly. This is a normal donkey. Look at them. At least they can do something together. And then we just have another donkey, I guess, at the Onager, but we don't have an Onager in here, so that's another just brown donkey. And a black donkey. What should you be? domestic ass. Okay, so that is definitely a donkey too then. Yeah, so that brings me to the end of the zoo. You can't even move further than here. Notice garden stuff only beyond this point, so we can't do that. So it's time to just jump over the channel, like a little bit. And apparently that is just a very tiny jump over to the other side. So here we go to the other side, and let's keep on walking. Alright, we just jumped over the little channel, and as you can see, Przewalski Horse, where we've just been, is on the other side. We're just facing the reindeers here, but if we turn around, there are even more tiny stables over here of yet another couple of antelope type of animals. And this is the... I can't find the name. Just with M... B... Oh, for God, dang it, I should know, but like, it's late, I'm tired, it's weird. Then we do have, and this just caught me by surprise because it's so sad, these are the old Giraffe and Hippo areas. And again, I'm very sorry to say, but building wise, this apparently looks freaking gorgeous, but yeah, from what the zoo is offering, my God, is that sad to see. Look, I mean, again, it is so super realistically done, and it's, again, very crazy to see that this has been the way it was done in zoos. And again, when you grew up in that time, the overall discussion wasn't around that. It was like you were bringing your family to a zoo and they were seeing animals that they didn't see or couldn't see else in the world, and that's exactly how people have been, you know, educated, and this is why they didn't see the cruelty in that in the first place. But you know, fortunately enough, a lot of people grew older and started questioning things. But I also like this little, just like the security of the, like these tiny things, like the security or the whatever this is for the trees. Yeah, mandatory, but looking great. Okay, some more donkeys over here, and we do also obviously have the zebra. Sounds like a basketball player. Zebra. Okay, never mind. So this is that area, and if we run all the way across back into the other area here, we will still see some other stuff. And again, this zoo is really big, and we yet haven't seen everything, and we won't, but it still is a freaking long tour. Again, a lot of different antelope type of animals, and then we come to some of my favorite habitats in here, as I said earlier. These type of habitats, which certainly are not working too well for the animals that are on display right now, but for smaller ones nowadays, they work good. So over here, we've got the beaver, and there was just like that tiny kind of pond in here, and they can actually just chill in there if they want to. That definitely shouldn't be deep enough to make them dive, but there is that like big pile of stones in the middle for them to live in, and then we've got this whatever that is, but looks kind of interesting. And then we also have some smaller, you know, aviaries. Someone is boxed in here, not sure who that is. Let's see who we can unbox here. Oh, this is prairie dogs. Okay, so prairie dogs get alive. They, okay, well that one apparently is always just being whatever. Look at that, all these veggies in here to give them some foodies. There are the meerkats. Oh my God, it's kind of incredible to see that it was even possible to give them a smaller habitat than they have today. That is ridiculous. Yeah, again, we've got some more goats over here, Capricorn, and all these kind of wonderful animals as well. And this is all in the deer shed. Ah, God, look at this. But we do have another great aviary, as you can see over here. This is the canal bank aviary, as it's called, and we've got a lot of fake parrots over here. Love that, sitting in netting. Oh, I can't tell you how much I would love to have these type of animals in game. Actually, that would help so freaking dramatically. Then there's also like a little bit of a secret entrance here. We are just behind the entrance, or maybe this is the exit even. So as you can tell, this is there, and we're going to go back into the zoo, because the last thing we're going to look at is going to be some of the goats again, and they do stand on top of these things. Oh my God, look at this. Very sad, but very good usage of rocks though. Again, the last two things we're looking at are the rhino and the elephant, the African elephant, I must say, because the Asian elephant we've already seen on display. There is a rhino, as you can see. They just have that typical zoo-ish concrete bottle of water, and the same goes for the elephant, who's just using that, as you can tell over here. Again, look at how sad that looks. There's really not much more I can say about that. It looks freaking sad, unfortunately. But again, architecturally, and like how the zoo potentially has been looking back in the day, it is relatively accurate as far as I can tell from what I was able to find. And oh boy, yeah. Anyways, looking at this area over here, we have one more flyover to the latest point where we're ending this tour. Yeah, look at, but this looks very good. Some of these areas I feel like could be existing in real life still, because like nowadays, why not? It's like a cozy little corner over here. It doesn't harm anyone if it just is about chairs and picnic tables. But yeah, let's do that little flyover. And this one apparently is also very cool because we see yet some other very cool implied habitats, specifically the parrot area and the little parrot house over here. Again, it just makes you aware of what we are missing without actual birds in this game. The house itself is rather simple, but very effective in its design. Then we also have some smaller areas over here with some smaller cages. And now we're making our way all the way over here to the kangaroos and some other very well-known animals being in some smaller shelters, going past this area over here, and then leading us to the last exhibit. Alright, we are ending our zoo by the snow leopard over here. And the snow leopard, unfortunately, is a great example of what this zoo is capable of displaying, and that is the cruelty of how animals have been held in the very early 20th century. And that should be a lesson for all of us. And I love the fact this zoo exists in Planet Zoo, because it gives you the chance to relive the beauty of these zoos when it comes to the layout of a park and it being a almost like royal garden and really, let's say, human focused build. You know, that is very interesting. But yet again, it also displays the cruelty of how animals in general have been treated as really the attractions in a zoo. And frankly, this is the foundation of why modern day zoos exist in the way they do exist, like why animals have been held in captivity in the first place. So that must be said. Maybe things would be totally, and they would definitely be totally different today, but that's just how it's been. Let's see if this little kangaroo is still outside, by the way. Yeah, there's one kangaroo who's like casually roaming around the zoo, which I just found out. But yeah, Django is all doing good. I named him Django because he's like always be by my side. Now, this has been a zoo, and I feel like we have to zoom out one last time to give you the full conclusion. So that's been it with my tour of the London Zoo and the London Zoo of 1904. I do hope you enjoyed this type of tour. I do hope you enjoyed how I was guiding you through. I was about to record myself with my face as well, but I thought, you know, I'm just looking so tired. I don't give you that. So maybe next time. But let me know in the comments down below what you think about a face cam for upcoming tours. Just as a little hint, I will do more tours again in the future. So if you are willing to hand in your parks, whether it's in Planet Coaster or Planet Zoo, it doesn't matter. Just drop me an email to rudy.campbell@googlemail.com, but you'll also find my mail address in my profile here on YouTube if you want to. I can't promise when I'm doing them, but whenever I have a zoo that I feel like doing, I'm gonna pick this and just do a tour. But I must say, this park over here, it's definitely one of my favorite creations I've ever been able to tour, no matter in which game. This is pinpoint accuracy, and it's so incredible to see the details that have been put in here. All these little jokes, all these little like all the knowledge you have apparently from working in that very zoo showcases how much has been gone into it, and I loved it to every single bit, and I hope you guys out there did too. If you did too, make sure to interact a lot with the video to show the people the love and to make sure that it is viewed as much as it is, you know, deserved that this has been viewed. And also don't forget to jump over to the creators YouTube channel. Everything is down below in the description. Give him a follow. Make sure to make that channel grow, because that work is absolutely worth it. And I, as always, talk to you in the next one.